go to Danny in Houston, Texas. Danny, how can we help?
Yes, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I have it's probably a more personal than money situation, but obviously everything's interconnected. So I am having a lot of health issues that because of where we live. I have really bad allergies that lead to really bad asthma exacerbations, and I'm on and off of steroids and in and out of ERs, and I'm trying all the therapies.
Bless your heart.
And as a physician in a specialty, I am in a unique area. I absolutely love what I do. I love the people I work with. I don't want to move, but my husband, being a good man, wants me to be healthy.
Yes.
And wants what's best for me and my health. And what we've found from what I can tolerate is the coast, either one would be better. And, of course, that higher cost of living, a higher tax bracket. And for whatever reason, in my field, academic positions are not paying as well. And so I'm looking at, if we were to move, taking a 50% pay cut. And it's really hard for me to look at that and be like, how can I choose myself over my family's future?
Okay. Well, let's pause there for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
How what would your household income go to? Combined income go from what to what?
Okay. So it would probably go from 6s, 7s to 4s, 5s.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, 600,000 to 700,000 to 400,000 to 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't want to minimize in any way the feelings you're feeling, but your family is not going to be destitute, nor is their future going to be hampered by that kind of a drop when you're making that kind of money after the drop. That's assuming that is going to be the case and that you can't increase that. But let's just, as just two strangers that you called, George, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Every listener out there is like, I think I could make $500,000 work anywhere.
And we know you don't mean it that way,
Agreed.
but most people heard that and they're like, I think I could scrape by on 400,000 to 500,000. I'd find a way. And so I'm not in any way criticizing you, because a cut is a cut. I don't care how much money you're making.
And there's still maybe sacrifices to be made that will hurt.
But I wanted to start there, Danny, and then I would also tell you that if I were your husband and your husband's already stepped up in a big way, I want you to choose you. Choosing you over the income, choosing you over your role with the rest of the family. We'd rather have you than not you. Yes?
Yeah, and of course those are the exact same things that are being said. I'm like, there's no guarantee that I won't get out there and still have those same issues. But
well, let me ask you this. Have you been to the coast, let's say the East Coast? Have you spent 2 weeks there?
Yeah, when we've done different vacations.
Did it improve?
When I leave, yeah. It is, but I've never lived out there, so who knows what would happen during certain seasons or illnesses.
And what is it that you do?
I'm a subspecialist in pulmonary medicine.
So you said you're in the academic side?
No, it's just that you are typically associated with an academic center.
Okay.
For when you're in that.
Well, I also want to challenge you that it's always going to be a pay cut. I mean, I don't know that you've checked every single role in every area, and we don't know what the next 6 months holds as you begin to do more research. But I think it's kind of like you're like, it's going to be less pay. It's going to be hard. I want you to be optimistic about that. I'm going to get my health back. And as a physician, you know that health is wealth. I mean, it's everything.
What's holding you back? I think you kind of said it, but I think there's one thing here that's really holding you back.
Well, we're so close. We'll have the house paid off. We'll be good. We'll owe nothing to nobody.
Okay. How much do you owe on the house?
$200.
Okay. And but here's the thing. Again, I think that's another false hurdle. There's a lot of sand on the East Coast. Are you aware of this? It goes all the way. I mean, it's kind of we got up north. It goes all the way down. A lot of states, And your specialty pays very well. And I just believe with all the states that have sand and sea air, that there have got to be some places where you can move that the income doesn't drop that much. But even if it does, you're still making really good money. You sell the house you're in, you may be able to pay cash for something somewhere else. I just think you're coming up with a lot of limitations, and I still think it's deeper than that. I know I'm digging. Is it deeper than this? I think you really like where you live, and I think this is a massive change for you that even could totally change your life because of your health. I think you're reluctant to change and pull up roots. That's what I think.
I don't think you're wrong. We've got 3 small kids, and it's, to find, childcare and get them restarted. And then you're talking about probably private schools, depending on the areas that we're looking at. So it's another added expense, and it just changes the whole thing where you've worked so hard to be miserable? Really, really comfortable.
Do you want to be miserable or uncomfortable?
I mean, I have been for like 3 years, so I've made it this far.
They're going to get their mom back.
So let's do that for another 25, 30 years. Now's the easiest time to move when the kids are little. They're not attached. They don't care where they're at. I think this is a, do I want to be miserable physically or do I want to be uncomfortable emotionally? And I think you guys got to do more research. I think you got to spend more time on this. This is a massive move, and I honor what you're feeling. That's what I thought was going on. You know what this is? This is actually not about paying the house off. This is about the massive amount of change that this move is going to require, and that everybody understands.
Yeah. I'm just a very regimented, everything's scheduled. Everything's been done out, and it just feels like it's a huge wrench and change everything.
It is, Deanie. Because you know what? I bet you your husband's not. Am I right?
He is not.
I knew it.
Not.
I knew it because I would be like, yeah, let's move. Let's go. I love change. I really do. Yeah. I think change is great. Change is exciting. But you pretty much have 2 types of people in the world. Freaks like me and then normal people like George.
Thank you.
With a slight bit of neurosis. But the point is that now that you've identified what's going on, here's why I was digging. I love that you listed out new schools. Would they have to be private? Because I like you creating a list. George is actually great at this. I'm going to pass this off to you. Where she started, give her the list that she would need to make as she begins to look at different states and different cities to get to the point where she goes, okay, I can check this off, this off, this off. And even now I know we can make this change and it's not as painful as possible.
Yeah, there's 2 lists for you, Danny. One is the financial side. So let's start to make a fake budget using every dollar. Go, here's what our life could be in this. Look up all the cost of living things, look at private school costs, and start to actually look at facts. And you may go, oh, we're going to be fine. We're still going to have plenty of money. And then look at housing. Say, if we looked at this kind of house, here's how quickly we could pay that off, or we could pay cash if we did this. And that will give you some peace on the financial side. On the logistics side, start to write down every single decision you're going to have to make. And it's going to be overwhelming at first. But I promise it's also going to be cathartic once you get it on paper and your husband starts to go, cool, I'll take that one, you take that one, we'll divvy this up, let's come back and do another budget meeting, another meeting to talk about the future. And that's going to give you so much peace. Right now, there's so many variables, there's so many unknowns that it's just fear.